read. We do not. Just confirm we're doing from Abu Huraira. This is the hadith number 23. You got a proper hadith on the Check Abi Huraira. Right, okay, Bismillah, read. يدعي الإسلام من أشد القتال. تحدث أنه. Okay, let me translate it from the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. One Abi Hurairah narrating authority. I think we read this hadith, ne? We read it, but we know the explanation. Okay, we read it again, no problem. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن أبي هريرة رأيت أثارة أبو هريرة قال شهدنا مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حنينا, that we witnessed the battle of Hunain with رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لرجل ممن معه, then Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم said لرجل, with regards to a person, right, ممن معه, that was with رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, يدعي الإسلام, he was claiming to be a Muslim. So already you see there, the raise of that flag, the person was claiming to be a Muslim, right? Right? Right. هذا من أهل النار. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this person here is from among the inhabitants of the fire. فلما حضر القتال, then when the time of fighting came, right, فلما حلق قال, right, فلما حلق قاتل رجل من أشد القتال. This person fought, the literal translation, the most severe of fighting. The most severe of fighting, which means it, which we told it is إضافة إلى التخصيص. قاتل قتالا شديدا. He fought like very brave. وكثرت فيه الجراح. What you got in the kitab? جراح وجراح. Jarahu. And this person fought so bravely, he was all over the show that he had a lot of wounds on him, right? Right? فجاء رجل, so one person came to Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, he couldn't reconcile. فقال يا رسول الله أرأيت الذي تحدث أنه من أهل النار. You see this person, يا رسول الله, you said he's from the people of the fire, nah? تحدث, you said, you were saying أنه, that he من أهل النار, from the people of fire, right? قد قاتل في سبيل الله من أشد القتال. Verily he fought in the path of Allah Ta'ala, the most severe fighting. قاتل قتالا شديدا, right? فكثرت فيه الجراح. He fought so bravely, and as a result of that, there were many wounds on him, right? فقال أما أن فقال أما أنه من أهل النار. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was unfazed. He still said, no, you know what? أما, no, أنه من أهل النار. It doesn't matter how he fight, how brave he fight. He is from the people of the fire. فَكَادَ بَعْضُ النَّاسِ يَرْتَابُ. So some people, literally, you can say translates as had doubt, but I told you, in this context, we also say it as doubt. People were a bit confused here, that on one hand, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying that this person is from the people of the fire, right? that these people are from the people of the fire, or he's from the fire, but here he's fighting so bravely. So you can say, yeah, people couldn't reconcile between. But like, carry on. Right. So فبينما هو على ذلك, so whilst he was fighting so bravely, etc., إذ وجد الرجل ألم الجراح, when this person began feeling the pain of his wounds, then it caught up with him, right? So فأهوى بيدي إلى كنانته, he أهوى يهوي, he to intend, right? Okay, to, it was this word, to lean to. فأهوى, he went with his hands إلى كنانته, to his cover, right? فانتزع سهما, he took out a arrow from that, right? And then فانتحر, he cut himself, he wounded himself, right? Right? Subhanallah, right? فاشتد رجال من المسلمين إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقالوا يا رسول الله صدق الله حديث. So then men haste from the believers, they hastened towards Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. They said, Ya Rasulullah, صدق الله حديثك, Allah Ta'ala has proven your statement to be true. In other words, you said that this person here is from the fire, and here you have been vindicated, right? Right, carry on. Right, قد انتحر فلان, this person here, he wounded himself, right? وقتل نفسه, and he killed himself, right? فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, said, الله أكبر, Allah Ta'ala is the greatest. أشهد أني عبد الله, I myself bear witness that I am the servant of Allah, ورسوله, and his Rasul. Ya Bilal, oh Bilal, let's carry on, right? لا يدخل الجنة إلا مؤمن, announce that none will enter Jannah except a believer. وإن الله لا يؤيد هذا الدين برجل فاجر, and verily Allah Ta'ala will assist the deen even, right, برجل, with a sinning person, a disobedient person. ورواه البخاري, Imam Bukhari narrates this particular riwayat. So okay, I tell you, after the translation, first point is, what is the relevance of the hadith of the chapter? And the relevance of the hadith of the chapter is that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam very accurately, he predicted that this person here, he is not a proper believer, he's not a true believer, etc. So, two things here. Um, if we say he was a Muslim and he did not leave his Iman, and then he committed suicide, so committing this suicide doesn't take you out of the fold of Islam. It's a big sin. But if a person commits a suicide, it doesn't take you out of the fold of Islam. Like how we ran this in detail in the beginning of the Mishkaat Shareef, it is from amongst the Kaba'ir. What is it from? Amongst the Kaba'ir. So when a person commits a G, what you said in Birajul il Fajiri, I got here. Right, okay, this Jazakallah. Inna Allah la ilaha din Birajul il Fajiri. Right. So if we say there's two possibilities here. One is we say he was a Muslim, right? But he committed a big sin. And if you commit a big sin, the default ruling is you have to spend time in Jahannam, right? And then after you come out of Jahannam, you go into Jannah, right? That's one way you can look at it, that he was a believer, right? But he committed a big sin, and as is the role of big sins, is Allah Ta'ala can forgive you through His mercy, but the default ruling is you will spend some time in the Jahannam, and after you cleanse, you will come out. Now, a lot of people ask this question a lot of times also, that if a person commits a suicide, does it mean he will reside forever and ever in Jahannam? No. Remember, we told you that as the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, la yukaffiru al-murtakibul kaba'ir. A person commit a big sin, no matter what sin it is, even if a person become a homosexual or a person become a lesbian or whatever, as long as you understand what you're doing wrong to be wrong, right, then you are not out of the fold of Islam. Yes, if you consider what you're doing is halal, now there's the Aqidah issue, that's different. A person kills himself, they consider to be halal, or a person engaged in a homosexual activity considered to be halal. Now you are making something halal which Allah Ta'ala made haram. So it's not only an action with regards to amal now, it's in something that relates to akidah, so you come out of the fold of Islam. So no matter what sin a person commits, as long as he consider what he's doing is haram, then it's a big sin. And the law of a big sin is that if you make tawbah, you are forgiven. If you do not make tawbah, the default ruling is you will go to the fire of Jahannam. And right, and if Allah Ta'ala forgive you to His mercy, then it's good luck to you, right? So in this context, we can say if this was a believer, then we say he committed a big sin. That means he's going to spend time in the fire of Jahannam. So it would mean then that when Allah says he's from the people of the fire, it means he's somebody who will spend time in the fire of Jahannam, but he will come out eventually, right? Then also, if you look at Allah Ta'ala can assist the deen with a sinning person. So it means a Muslim, but he was a sinner, but Allah Ta'ala used him for the deen, right? So that's the one meaning, but that's not the preferred meaning. The preferred meaning is this was an open munafiq. It was not a true believer. So if he's not a true believer, so when Nabi Sam said he's from people of the fire, it means he's a person that resides forever and ever in the fire. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So I tell you, so this person here, who, with regards to Nabi Sam spoke, he was fighting. So this is the miracle. He was fighting so bravely, as though he was brimming with iman. And that's why when Sahaba Ikram was told that this person either is a kafir, in the sense that he's not a believer, or either he's a sinner, he's a person of weak iman, whichever I told you. So they couldn't reconcile between the two. How can he go to the five Jahannam? Fighting so bravely. But yet mentioned in the Shara, maybe he was fighting for qawmiyat. Qawmiyat means nationalism. Maybe he was, he was like, you're doing it for the, like how, you do something not for the ummah, not for the furtherment of Islam, but you do it for your own people. Like recently, in recent history, you see India attacked Pakistan. Pakistan attacked very, very aggressively. You see Israel attacked Iran. Iran responded very aggressively. They sent how many ballistic missiles into Israel. But did any of these two countries do anything when they saw the Muslims being killed, when they saw the Muslims being genocided? They done nothing. So what does that show you? It shows you they were acting out of their own interest. They were acting out of national interest. They were not acting in the interest of the ummah. If we were one ummah, one big ummah under a khalifa, then people would act in the interest of the ummah. So this is national, what we call nationalism. You responding to protect your national interest. So same thing here, that perhaps this person was not doing it. If he's not a Muslim, he's not a believer, obviously he's not concerned with furthering the interests of Islam. Right? So same thing, the answer will come here. That look here, why, if you say he's not a believer, why was he fighting so bravely? He was maybe, I told you, we discussed this before. In the war, the resources would divide people into tribes, so that each tribe they could vie with each other, so they could do the best. So it could be that here this person was fighting what, to further national interest, to further the interest of his qawm, not really to further the cause of Islam. Or maybe it was to show off, to feign Islam, etc. Are you with me? And then obviously Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam accurately predicting that no, this person is not doing purely for the pleasure of Allah Ta'ala. That is the miracle. Some riwayat here suggest, if you just riwayat it, fantahara. Nahara means to cut, to stab. And right. So I told you some riwayat suggest this person killed himself with his sword. And here he's speaking about he pierced and he stabbed himself with his arrow. The reconciliation is pretty simple. Maybe first he cut himself, or he stabbed himself, he poked himself, like a double say poke, he poked himself with a arrow, and then he slit his wrist with the sword, whatever. Then the last part here, إن الله لا يؤيد هذا الدين بالرجل الفاجر. Very important thing, the fact that Allah Ta'ala is using you for some work of deen doesn't necessarily mean you are a pious person. Like, look at this incident here. Here, this person fought the kuffar. He killed the kuffar. And obviously, he helped the Muslims, but he was not even a Muslim himself, according to one explanation. I told the other explanation, you can say he was maybe a Muslim, but a weak Muslim, a fajr, a fasik. So Allah Ta'ala can use anybody for his deen. So if Allah Ta'ala is using you for something of deen, if Allah Ta'ala is using you to accomplish something of deen, that does not necessarily mean that you are a pious person and you are an accepted person, etc. Are you with me? Allah Ta'ala can take work from anybody. Allah Ta'ala can even take work from his enemy. You know, and here, this the author of this kitab here is a very pro jihad person, not a Mishkaat Shareef, I'm speaking of the Shara, right? So he always promotes jihad, and he always, you get certain movements. They say, look, we're not ready for jihad. We must first build our iman, etc., etc. So he's saying, look here, just listen to this. It's interesting. He's saying, look here, for this person here, he was a munafiq. Did he have iman? He never have iman. But yet Allah Ta'ala used him to destroy the kuffar. So how can you say that we are not ready for jihad? How can you say no, we first have to build the iman of the people? Why do you insist we must first build the iman of the people? And once the people's iman is ready, now we can only engage in jihad. Yeah, forget about building iman. This person here, he wasn't even a believer. He wasn't even a believer. He was a fasik. He was a fajr. But yet Allah Ta'ala used him to break the might of the kuffar. So he's saying that the main purpose of jihad is to break the might of the kuffar. It's something which is physical. Yes, obviously, if your iman is strong, etc., etc., then that will be an assistant. But it is not the main criterion to engage in jihad. This is the next hadith. This one. Okay. O- Okay, there's an interesting hadith. You might be surprised also. See, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wa an Aisha. Before we start the actual hadith, I just want to mention something. I mentioned the 2 years before. We, the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we discussed this before. Sihr, Jadu, magic, it is a reality. It is not a figment of the imagination. I told you two groups particular, which I know. One is the Qadianis, they believe in a prophet, and also the what you call the people that only believe in the Quraniyin. They are very similar to the Mu'tazilas. These people, both good, although they're very, very different in certain aspects, but and in certain aspects they're very similar. One commonality between them, they don't believe in anything out of the ordinary. They don't believe in anything out of the ordinary. So anything which doesn't make logical sense to them, they don't accept it. That's why they don't accept all the miracles, etc., etc. So similar, they don't accept sihr. They don't believe in sihr. They believe sihr is a figment of the imagination, right? So uh, they don't believe that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was also mashoor, right? That Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was also afflicted with jadu. And so, uh, inshallah, we'll discuss this in detail. Any doubts that comes about, we will discuss all of this here, right? So they don't believe. They say it is. They deny it, like how they deny miracles, etc. They deny also this. But we Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we say it is a reality, and we say also that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was also mashoor, right? So there's more details, important details, but anyway, we will cover. So the right now the authority of Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala, and it comes in the Quran. And even if you look at the verses of Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq and Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Nas, we believe that these verses were revealed to pure Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Anyway, قالت سحر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, child was made upon him. So the right word you can say he was bewitched, right? حتى to such an extent أنه لا يخيل إليه. It would appear to him أنه فعل الشيء, that he done something, but وما فعله, but he did not do it. So maybe he thought he ate, but he never eat. He thought he went to the bathroom, but he never got to the bathroom. حتى إذا كان ذات يوم, to such an extent, when one day, عنده, while he was by me, دعا الله ودعاه, he made dua to Allah Ta'ala, ودعاه, this is a ta'kid, and he made again the dua to Allah Ta'ala. Carry on. Oh, sorry. ثم قال, he said, أشعرت يا عائشة, do you know as Aisha, إن الله قد أفتاني فيما استفتيته, that Allah Ta'ala has guided me in something which I asked him. I asked him, did you give a new link? Somebody's bad. Auntie Nasiha that just joined now, did you use the current link or old link? Can you just let us know? Because there's other people that also want to join, but they can't join. Can we get some feedback from Auntie Nasiha, please? Okay, so just send me that old link, then I'm gonna put it in the chat. Then, inshallah, we'll try to sort out all the problems after this. I think maybe we need to make a payment Just send me the link that you guys use, inshallah, and I'll put it on the group for whoever wants to join, inshallah. Whatever link you used, send it to me. I will put it on. So there seems to be a problem with the Lukman with the new link. I told you my phone was saying must do payment or something like that. But inshallah, after this class, we'll sort it out. You joined also, I see. Huh? Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yes, there seems to be a problem. Inshallah, we'll try to sort it out. I think we need to make a payment. But anyway, I did post the old link. If anybody's struggling, they can try the old link, inshallah. Okay, anyway, so we were discussing this very interesting hadith. I told you, for those who just joined, that sihr jad was made upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And we, the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we believe that the jadu is haqq. And we also believe that it was done to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So this is critical. This is very important thing. This is where we differ with the, you can say, the Quran only people. This is where we differ with the Mu'tazilas, etc. I told you, we believe that sihr jadu is haqq. And we also believe that sihr was done to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But an important thing here, remember we discussed Luqman, I told you before that we believe the Anbiya are ma'soom. They have been divinely protected from doing anything wrong. And what is the reason why they have been divinely protected from doing anything wrong? Is because obviously they have been sent as guides, right? So how is it possible that somebody has been sent as a guide can do something wrong? Are you with me? Now, similar to that, also, even though we say that this overwhelming text, this hadith, and the Shani Nuzul, the reason why Surah Falaq and Surah Nas was revealed also, there's overwhelming text to suggest that Nabi Sallallahu was also mastur, like this hadith here, which is a muttafaq alayhi riwayat from Bukhari and Muslim. So we can't deny that. But this is the critical point. I want you to listen to this. Like how we believe the Anbiya were ma'soom. They were divinely protected from doing anything wrong. Despite Nabi Sallallahu being mashur, we also believe that he only had some type of doubt with regards to umur dunyawiyah, with regards to the matters of the dunya. Did I eat? Did I not eat? Etc. But not regards to with not regards to the things of deen. So despite Nabi Sallallahu being mashur, he wouldn't say something which is haram is halal, or he wouldn't say something which is halal is haram. There's a hadith is quite clear. حتى أنه لا يخيل إلى أنه فعل الشيء وما فعله. You would think that he done something whilst he did not do it. You would think that he done something whilst he did not do it, right? So I told you that obviously if he was protected by Allah Ta'ala from committing haram, then obviously he would be protected also from giving a wrong fatwa, right? So I'll just read the hadith again for those who joined us. I gave you the preamble again. وعائشة قالت سحر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Right now, Farida Aisha Siddiqa, Rasulullah was mashhur, Jadu was made upon him. And I tell you, this is the belief of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that Jadu Sihr is a reality. حتى لا يخيل, until he would appear to him أنه فعل الشيء, he done something وما فعله, while he did not do it. حتى إذا كان ذات يوم عندي, until such one day when he was by me, دعا الله ودعاه, he made dua to Allah Ta'ala and he made dua again. ثم قال أشعرتي يا عائشة. He said, oh Aisha, tell me, do you feel إن الله قد أفتاني, Do you know that Allah has guided me, gave me a fatwa, he must have stayed to in that which I asked him. Carry on reading. So, yeah. So he said, جاءني رجلان, two people came to me. جلس أحدهما عند رأسي والآخر عند رجلي. One of them two sat by my head and the other one sat by my feet. Remember in the beginning of Mishkaat also, there is that that riwayat where Nabi Sallallahu was resting, then two angels came and they said, "Do you know who's this here?" So he said, "Yes." And he gave the example that a person created, he had a nice prepared a feast, then he sent somebody to call them out, etc. So this was also one of the ways in which uh, Nabi Sallallahu communicated wahi to Rasulullah Sallallahu, that the angels would appear and they would speak, and this would be a divine message to him. Remember that riwayat, you must have done it in Kitab al-Iman, that somebody prepared a beautiful feast, then he sent somebody to call, invite, and those people who responded to the call, they will enjoy the feast. Then Islam is the feast, Islam and Jannat is the feast, etc., etc. And the caller is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the host is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, etc. So the point I'm trying to show you here is that Rasulullah, this is one of the ways in which Allah Ta'ala communicated wahi to Rasulullah. So he said, جاءني رجلان جلس أحدهما عند رأسي والآخر عند رجلي. Then ثم قال أحدهما لصاحبه. Then one of them said to his companion, ما وجع الرجل? What is the pain of this person here? In other words, he's got some complaint. Right? What is the complaint? Besides this, he also from the riwayat, other riwayat, we understand. Besides that, if Nabi Sallallahu used to have this doubt with regards to what he was doing, he'll also experience some type of pain. Right? Qala matbubun. Matbub means he has been bewitched. Qala wa man tabbahu. Oh, so who bewitched him? Qala Labid ibn al-A'sam. There's a person by the name of Labid al-A'sam. He bewitched him al-Yahudiyu, a Jew. قال في ماذا, in what, in where is this thing now? You say he's been which? قال في مشت ومشتاطة. We'll do the more explanation of this here. In a comb, and that things that fall out of a comb. وجف طلعة ذكر, and in the flower of the branch of the branch of the male part of the date. So we know that the date tree, it had, now besides the date tree, also there are a lot of other type of fruit vegetation. You've done in school pollination, cross pollination. There's a male part, there's a female part. So Jufi, we'll do the details of this. But anyway, in the flower of the branch of a male part of the date tree. قال فأين هو? So where is this in? قال في بئر ذروان. It's in the well of Dharwan. فذهب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في أناس من أصحابه. Then Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم went with a group of his companions إلى البئر, to the well. فقال هذه البئر التي أريتها. This is the well, I was shown it. وكأن ماءها نقاءة الحناء, as though the water was the color of henna. وكأن نخلها رؤوس الشياطين, and as though this part of the date palm, رؤوس الشياطين, it was like the heads of shaitan. فاستخرجه, then he removed it. متفق عليه, it's a متفق عليه riwayat. So anyway, before we look at the hadith in detail, just again, for especially those who joined, I just want to read the hadith and just give a brief overview of the hadith before we look at the detail. Firstly, I told you, sihr is a reality. People deny it. The Qadianis, the Mu'tazilas, the Quran only people, and even modernists, they deny it. Yes, we agree with you that maybe people overplay it. They say that if, at the moment some small problem come, etc., etc., then they say no, jadu, sihr. Yes, to that extent we agree that people, you can't blame every small thing on jadu until you don't have concrete proof. But the main thing we want to show you, it is a reality. It is proven from the Quran. It is proven from the Sunnah. Yes, people maybe they overplay it, that we agree, but we cannot deny its reality. Right. So, Suhira Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is mentioned that when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his Sahaba Ikram were returning from Hudaybiyah. Remember, Hudaybiyah was after Nabi Sallam seen in a dream that he's making Umrah, then he proceeded with Sahaba Ikram to make Umrah, but they were stopped outside. We discussed certain miracles that took place in the Hudaybiyah. There was no water. Water flowed from the finger of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and then also that lady with the two buckets, how much water came from there. We discussed it. Anyway, so Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, after he returned to Medina after Hudaybiyah in in the month of Dhul Hijjah, the 6th year of Hijri, we say this is, so remember this date here. Lukman, remember this date. We won't read anymore. I don't think there's a lot of explanation, so you don't have to worry to check that. We won't read anymore. So see, in Hudaybiyah, 6th Hijri, in Dhul Hijjah, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was mashoor. And then I told you we have to clarify this, that this jadoo did not affect Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam shar'i shu'ur, because he was divinely protected. Like how he was divinely protected from sin, he was divinely protected from erring in giving a fatwa or a judgment. It only related to things of the dunya. His body would become very weak, and many times you think he done something, but he did not do it. So he would forget things of the dunya, but not of the Shariah. There was a Jew by the name of Labidun Aqsam. So he, in cahoots with his daughters, they done this. That is why the verse say, Min sharrin nafathati. Nafathati is feminine, right? So how long was Nabi Sallallahu exactly afflicted by this jadoo? There are three types of riwayat. Some riwayat suggest that 40 days. Some riwayat suggest he was afflicted for 6 months. And some riwayat suggest he was afflicted for 1 whole year. So the easy way of making intibaq between that is we'll say that the worst effects was for 40 days. The worst effect. And then the next 6 months he was also affected, but not as bad. And then for till another year, it was minimal effect. So like that, we have correlated between the three outwardly contradictory hadith. I was telling you, this shows you it's a reality, right? Um, I told you the Mu'tazilah, the Qadianis, and all those people, they say there's no such thing. So we say, like how a person experience bodily illness, etc. Like this year also, you experience this type of illness. And also this is important. Remember I told you, Anbiya alayhimu salatu wa taslim, yes, they were guided by Allah Ta'ala. They were protected from sin, right? But biologically, they were also human beings. It's not that the Anbiya Nabi was a separate creation. He was also, like you can say, blood, flesh, bones. So the same illnesses that would affect a human being would affect a Nabi, right? Like what is the medical illnesses, fever, etc., etc., etc. So like that also, Jadoo is something that affects a human being. Yes, Anbiya are divinely protected from sin. That's a separate thing. But as a human being, like how human beings are susceptible to the effects of Jadoo, same thing. They were also affected. They could, they would also, the Anbiya would also be affected. So here it's interesting. He said that Anbiya alayhimu salat wa taslim were affected by the same things by which human beings were affected, but Allah Ta'ala protected from those things by which people who dislike them. Right? So Mullah Ali Qari says, لأن السحر إنما يعمل في أبدانهم وهم بشر. That sihr will affect a Nabi, will affect his body because وهم بشر, he's also a human being. So listen to this, it's an important principle. يجوز عليه من العلل والأمراض ما يجوز على غيرهم. Hence it's possible that the same illnesses that affect non-Anbiya will affect them as well. يجوز عليه من العلل والأمراض ما يجوز على غيرهم. So I told you this also makes reference to the certain Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, قَدْ جَاءَكُمْ نُورٌ, that a light has come to you. And certain people, they misunderstand this, the Barelwis, they believe Allah Ta'ala is created from light, etc. We say this light here means he's a guidance, but biologically he's the same as us. Hence he will be affected by the same things that we are affected. Right? وفائدة حلول السحر تنبيه على أن هذا بشر مثلكم. The fact that the jadoo can affect a Nabi, it's clear that أن هذا بشر مثلكم. He's a human being like you as well. وعلى أن السحر تأثيره حق. And also we learn from this that jadoo, its effect is a reality. وعلى أن السحر تأثيره حق. فإنه إذا أثر في أكمل الإنسان فكيف بغيره. So if jadoo can affect the best of mankind, which is Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then why won't it affect besides him as human beings? So jadoo is a reality. Yes, maybe it's overplayed, but right, that's a different thing. Anyway, coming back to the hadith, he says, كان ذات يوم عندي دعا الله ودعاه. He made dua to Allah Ta'ala ودعاه. It's just for emphasis, and he made dua again and again with regards to this problem. Then you got the word there, مطبوب. See there, the angel said, هو مطبوب. But مطبوب comes with مسحور اسم المفعول. Then man tabbahu, the angel asked. So this was a way of conveying information to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So who made jadu upon him? Man tabbahu. Then he said, well, there's this person here, this Jew. So tabba are from those words, right, that it can have opposite meaning. You see there, وَمَنْ طَبَّهُ قَالَ لَبِيبْنُ الْأَعْصَمِ. You know, so because normally tabba means tabib to cure you, but it has the opposite meaning also. So interesting, they say here in the Shara, why you refer to being afflicted with illness as tabba? So it's a tafa'ul, it means who cured you. So you say that inshallah from you got an illness, but from this illness you get cured. That's why I said kana rasul yuhibbu tafa'ul. Right? He used to love tafa'ul, taking a good omen, not a bad omen. Like is another example of this in Arabic. You refer to a person who has been stung by a snake or rather bit by a snake as Salim. Why? As a good omen that soon he will be cured. So same thing, a person who taken ill with him as Tabba Madboob. Literally, we translate somebody is cured. So tafa'ulan, you understood that? So I'll tell you this Yahud, these Yahud, they were always out to harm Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I told you they were jealous that the last prophet appeared from amongst the Arabs and never appeared from amongst them. So this person here, he was the main, he was, you can say, the brain behind the whole thing. But he instructed his daughters to do it. That is why, min sharri nafathati fil uqad, wa min sharri ghasiqin, etc. So you remember, we the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we believe these two surahs, Kul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq and Kul A'udhu bi Rabbil Nas, it was revealed specifically as a cure for this. And there's great virtue for it. I was just reading one post yesterday about reciting the Awwadatain, and not even the Al-Mu'adhatain, especially you recite it, you blow in your hands, and you blow a little spit, and you rub this on your entire body. So inshallah, like how it was a means of cure for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it will also be a cure for you. Maybe some didn't make jadu, but sometimes nazar is also haq. People look at you with envious eyes, or sometimes even not with envious eyes. Somebody admires something of yours, and then it can have an effect on you. That's why the hadith says, "Al-ainu haqqun." That person looking at intense um, look of affection at something, and doesn't even have to be bad, right? That can affect you. So al-aynu haqqun is a hadith. That's why we say to negate or mitigate the effect of it, you say, Masha Allah. So then, so these are just few random things about how to protect yourself, etc., and how not to affect somebody else. So they ask, how did this happen, right? How did this jadoo come? So you need to get some type of link with the person. So you say, fi mushtin with a dhamma on the meme and a sakin on the sheen, right? Refers to a comb. So they got somehow the other, they got the whole of the comb of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Then you get fi mushtin aw mushatatin. Tire fi mushtin wa mushatatin. So mushata refers to when you comb your hair. And as you get older, more older, you see, then some of your hair fall out because your hair get older, weaker, right? So that hair that falls out. So that's why the ulama explain also, you should be careful about your body parts, you know. You shouldn't just, you go to the barber, you just leave the hair there, you cut your nails, etc. What you must do, you must gather this up and you must dispose of it respectfully because this is the link to your body. So they managed to get some a hold of some way. I didn't explain here, but they managed to get a hold of some of the beard or some hair that fell from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's mushatatin, right? Or got stuck in the comb, whatever. So be careful about your. That's why we explain that when a person cuts their nails, or Allah Ta'ala protect when a person lose a limb, a person lose an organ, etc. All of these things must be buried away respectfully. Right. Then where was this? في جوف طلعة ذكر. So they say, if you look at a date or any fruit for that matter, first it appears as a flower. First it appears as a flower. So this refers to juf. And then that flower has a cover on it. So juf refer to that cover that comes on the flower. You ever seen sometimes, a flower, it has a cover over it, right? So as that cover opens up, the flower pops out underneath it. The flower pops out underneath it. So it refers to that there. That cover on the flower. Or you can say khilaf. Khilaf means cover. That's why also you refer to the cloth in the Kaaba as the khilaf of the Kaaba. So juf means the cover on the flower, right? Tal'ati, right? So the cover of, you can say, I told you, the male part of the date. So you can say this tal'a refer to the blossom or something like that. So in the male portion of the date of the cover, it was in this, and this was in Bi'ri Zarwana. Some revises Bi'ri. Yes, the best means of your body parts here is to collect it, and once in a while, inshallah, bury it somewhere, get a place in the garden or something, or if you're living in a flat, get some, ask somebody who's got access to a garden, etc., and you bury it there, right? Some revises say, fi bi'ri the uh, yeah, bi'ri zarwana, fi bi'ri arwana. Both are correct, right? So this was a well in Medina. It belonged to a person called Abu Ruzaiq. So here, bi'run fil Madinati fi bustani Abi Dhuraiqin. Right. So the next, so this well is mentioned that the water was, see the water says there, nuqa'atul hinna'i. Nuqa'atul hinna'i. Right?
Get your questions answered live on air on the Q&A segment. On a internet Station.
Okay, I see Muhammad Nazim is here, so inshallah we'll continue with this. Just a little bit more explanation before we move to the next hadith. So just keep your people's link on those who want to join the Mishkaat too, inshallah. Those who are joining the Mishkaat too, just keep the same link. Inshallah, we'll get a free period we'll write on. So just keep the same link for Mishkaat too. Plus, subhanallah, bihamdi, subhanallah.